Now students, let's consider the section D of your paper, in which the first question is question number 16. Question number 16 has two parts. In the first part, you have to list in the tabular form the three chemical properties on the basis of which we can differentiate between a metal and a non-metal. Then in the B part, you have to give the reason for the following. First is most metals conduct electricity well. Further, the reaction of iron trioxide with heated aluminium is used to join cracked machine part. Thermite reaction it is. So let us solve this question one by one. First is the part A. You have to discuss in the tabular form the properties of metal and non-metal, and these properties should be chemical properties. So this you can answer by showing in this way. We have metal here, just have a look on that. Metal oxides, if you are considering, these are generally basic in nature. If we talk about the nature of metal oxide, these are basic in nature, while if I talk about non-metals, these oxides are generally acidic in nature. This difference you can mention in your answer sheet. Further, metals generally react with water to produce hydrogen gas. This is a very common reaction of reactive metal. They generally react with water to produce hydrogen gas. In this case, you can take the example of sodium or potassium, but only need to mention the property. That's why I have written here. Further, non-metals. Non-metals generally do not react with water or steam. This is the difference between metal and non-metal. The third chemical property, metals are electropositive element, a very important property of metal. And further, non-metals are generally electronegative elements. We have mentioned three chemical properties, and if you mention three chemical properties in this way, for this part, you will get 3 marks for each of these property. It means if you are only differentiating two properties, then you will get 2 marks. For one property, you will get 1 mark, and I hope you have mentioned all three properties and you are just going to get full 3 marks in this part. Now let's take B part of this question. Give reason for the following. And the first thing we have taken here, most metals conduct electricity well. We know that metals are good conductor of electricity generally. So you can mention it due to the presence of free electron. In case of metals, there is a presence of free electrons. Most of the metals conduct electricity well. It is a simple one-liner reason, and if you write in this manner, you will get 1 mark for this reason. After that, the second thing, the reaction of iron oxide with heated aluminium is used to join cracked machine part. I have already told you this is thermite process, and you can represent it by writing the simple thing. When iron oxide reacts with heated aluminium, the amount of heat evolved is so large that the metal produced is in molten state, and thus it is used to join cracked machine part. We know that this thermite process is highly exothermic. Evolved heat is that much high that it can melt the obtained metal, and that molten metal is used to join the cracked machine part. You have to mention it, and if you mention this in this manner, you will get 1 mark for this also. It means total 5 marks you have obtained for this question. I hope you have attempted this question in this manner to get the full marks, and now it's the turn for next question, that is question number 17. Let's take the next 5 marker question, that is question number 17. This question also has internal choice, and first we are dealing with the first choice. Write the chemical formula and the name of the compound which is an active ingredient of all alcoholic drinks. Further, list its 2 uses. Write the chemical equation and name of the product formed when this compound reacts with sodium metal and hot concentrated sulfuric acid. 5 marker question it is, and we have to write the answer in stepwise manner. So let's write the solution for this question. First thing, what's the name of that compound which is the active ingredient of all alcoholic drink? Yes, it is ethanol. First we have to write its chemical formula because it is asked first in this way, and then you have to write the name also. These 2 things, and on mentioning these 2, you will get half mark for each of them. After that, the question is list its 2 uses. It means for ethanol, you have to write the uses also. here are the uses. Ethanol is a very good solvent. It is used as a solvent in tincture of iodine as well as it is used as a solvent in cough syrups also. So half mark for each of these uses you will obtain, half for this and half for this. After this, the next part, the reaction of ethanol with different substances. One is sodium metal, other is hot and concentrated sulfuric acid. When it reacts with sodium metal, there is the release of hydrogen gas, and when it reacts with hot and concentrated sulfuric acid, there would be the formation of ethene. So we'll mention these reactions along with the name of the product formed. So first, the reaction of ethanol with sodium metal. Sodium ethoxide is formed, hydrogen gas is released, and here is the name of the product formed. You have to mention separately also, and if you are doing so, you will get 1.5 mark for this part. Now we are left with rest 1.5 mark, and that is the reaction of ethanol with the next thing. What is that? That is hot and concentrated sulfuric acid. Here, when hot and concentrated sulfuric acid is added to ethanol at 443 Kelvin temperature, that temperature is very much important, ethene is formed, water is formed. You have to mention the name of the products formed also, ethene and water, and rest 1.5 mark you will get for this part also. It means if you solve this question in this manner, you will obtain full 5 marks. I hope you have attempted this question in this manner. Now, if you choose the second choice, then let's check what is that. What is methane? Draw its electron dot structure, name the type of bonds formed in this compound, and further, why are such compounds poor conductors of electricity and they have low melting and boiling points? What happens when this compound burns in oxygen? 5 marker question once again, and first you have to write what is methane. So let's solve this question. Here we should know that methane is CH4. That's an organic compound, the compound of carbon and hydrogen, and simply you can say it is an hydrocarbon. So methane is a compound of carbon and this has the chemical formula CH4. If you write so, you will get half mark. Further, you have to draw its electron dot structure, that's quite important, and if you draw so, you will get 1 mark. I'll show you the electron dot structure for this methane. Just have a look on that. Carbon is there, 4 electrons in the valence shell shown by crosses, and further hydrogen with valence electron 1 is shown here. Hydrogen has 1 valence electron that is shown with the help of dot, and this is electron dot structure, you can clearly see. If you draw this structure, you will get 1 mark. Now, after this, what we have to do? We have to check the further question here, that name the type of bonds formed in this compound. We know that in case of methane, there is the sharing of electron, and due to the sharing of electron, such type of bonds are called covalent bond. So you need to mention that also. We can write it as covalent bonds are present in this compound, means in methane, and if you write so, half mark would also be awarded here. After that, the next part was there, and that next part states why the such compounds are poor conductors of electricity, these covalent compounds, and why they have low melting and boiling points. Then you have to mention what happens when this compound burns in oxygen. It means mainly you have to answer 3 things. First part, 1 mark you will be getting, and for the second part, 2 marks you will be getting, because 2 reasons you have to mention, that why covalent compounds have low melting and boiling points and what happens when this compound burns in oxygen. So let's solve one by one this part also. Let's give the reason. For the first part, you can give the reason that in covalently bonded molecules, covalent compounds simply, the electrons are shared. These electrons are shared between atoms and no charged particles are formed. If there is no charge, no ion, no electron is there, then definitely these are not the good conductor of electricity. So in such compound, we say these are the poor conductors of electricity. Now the second part, what is that? In that case, you have to mention that why covalently bonded molecules have low melting and boiling point? You can simply write that covalently bonded molecules are seen to have strong bond. Yes, covalent bonds are strong, but within the molecule. If we talk about intermolecular forces, these are very weak, and this gives rise to the low melting and the boiling points of these compounds. So this will be the answer for the second part, but we are left with the rest part, in which it was asked that what will happen when methane is burnt in the presence of oxygen. So you will answer it, when methane burns in oxygen, carbon dioxide, H2O, and a large amount of heat and light is released. An exothermic reaction it is. You can simply mention the chemical reaction also to represent the process, that is CH4 combining with O2 giving you CO2 and H2O along with heat and light. You can even write this chemical equation. Let me balance this also. You can write here this way. This is the balanced chemical equation. So for writing the first reason, if you write this reason, you will get 1 mark. For writing the second reason, in which you have mentioned that why covalent compounds have low melting and boiling point, you will get 1 mark. And further, for writing the products obtained after the combustion of methane, you will get 1 mark also. This you can mention by writing this statement or by mentioning the chemical equation. I hope you will be getting full 5 marks if you have attempted this part. After this, let's move towards next question.